Hello, welcome. This is Blockchain Bloom, the blockchain educator. I'm Attila Pinken. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a lot of things. First of all, let's talk about the impact of the ceasefire, because this is right now, which is yesterday's topic, and we don't see too much, to be honest with you. Also, new data came out just a couple of minutes before I'm recording this video. The new PCE data, Core PCE is out, and tomorrow the new CPI data is also coming out in the United States. We're also going to check what kind of inflows, outflows we have into Bitcoin spot ETFs. Then let's talk about quantum threat, and let's looking at now the other side. Last week I talked about who is warning it's coming up soon, but now we have Adam Back, who is saying, and also Bernstein, that it's not happening that fast. And also now we have a new prototype in Bitcoin protocol, a new suggestion how they can actually make Bitcoin quantum resistant. Okay, and then I'm going to talk about also that by the year 2035, we could have, stablecoin volume up to 1.5 quadrillion US dollar, according to Chainalysis. Also, let's check who was selling and who was buying in Q1 in this year. And finally, I'm going to show you a very simple strategy when to buy and when to sell with data. And then you can check it out for yourself. Is this something for you or not? So guys, a lot of important things in today's video, and don't forget, every single day I'm bringing you the freshest cryptocurrency and blockchain news here on Blockchain Bloom. From Monday to Sunday, you're getting basically the content in short video form, so basically the essence of the news, less than 60 seconds. And once a week, like this one, you're getting a weekly summary when we overlook what's happening on the market. So with Blockchain Bloom, you can keep yourself up to date. If you would like to have this, then definitely subscribe, hit the like button if you like this kind of content. And now let's do it. And first, let's have a look at the price. We can see that Bitcoin is basically now down 1% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum down 3% in the last 24 hours. With that, Bitcoin 71,056 US dollar, Ethereum 2,184 US dollar. When we're looking at the top gainers, Siren up 11% almost, the DEXI up 9%, and Just is up almost 4%. Among the losers, we have Zcash down less than 1%. Why is that at the top? Who knows? Anyway, Mona down 7%, Algorand 7, Layer 0 7. Zcash now it's 7. Okay, now it makes sense. So basically, we can see no huge move either direction. Sideways market continues. And when we're looking at here the Bitcoin candlestick chart, it shows it clearly. This is the daily here, but since the 4th of February, we are moving in this range basically between 74,000-ish and also 60,000-ish level. And when we're looking at on the weekly chart, we can clearly see that 74,000 is in kind of important level, because this was the lowest point of last year, 2020. And also before we broke higher, we were, hovering around this level. So when we go back to 74,000, this could be one sign that we can move further a little bit. But then we have a couple of things like on the weekly, the 100 moving average, and also the 50 moving average, which we take in consideration before the move. But most likely now we are going here down, sideways, and the bottom still can come, to be honest with you. But I don't make plans like now, say for 100% what's going to happen. I always watching the market every single day and act accordingly. I think this is the best which works for me, not making other plans, because if it's change, I'm changing. If it's not changing, then we are in the downtrend. I think that's very, very important. And very important also, we have the oil price. Oil price basically went down, when we had the ceasefire, then which was announced that it's going to be 2 weeks ceasefire. Then oil, dumped sharply, went down, in a couple of hours, 23%. all the way. As you can see, this is the Brent, but if you're looking at this, the crude oil, it's also went down to $91. Now it's getting back to 100-ish, to be honest with you. So it's not dumping further. And also when we're looking at other things, like then we could see S&P 500 went higher. Nasdaq also came back quite nicely as a reaction. And Bitcoin made a small move, to be honest with you. Small move, and since that it's not actually moving further up. And when we're looking at this, it's also interesting that Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz again, less than 24 hours after agreeing to reopen it. You know, these kind of news coming out. It's a mix of news. It's very hard to follow, and this is why the market is so uncertain and it's not really moving. You know, Israel continued bombing Lebanon after ceasefire was announced, which Iran says is a direct correlation to the agreement. Gulf Arab countries are also reporting new attacks across the region. Then we have Donald Trump saying that the U.S. force will remain in Iran until real agreement is reached. But how is it going to happen? And also here that it's going to take weeks, if not months, until Strait of Hormuz tanker traffic won't normalize anytime soon. This is what they're saying. So, yeah, the situation is still on, and because of this uncertainty on the market is not really moving. You know, one day they say this, another day they say that. They say it's going to be a ceasefire. The traffic hasn't really started on the Hormuz. So, yeah. Still waiting for the solution. Interestingly, we have here Iran weighing crypto tolls for ships using Strait of Hormuz. Empty tankers will reportedly be permitted to pass through the waterway under the US-Iran deal, but certain ships will need to pay a tariff of $1 per barrel of oil in the Bitcoin. So how crypto comes into this. Also, now let's move on. And let's talk about the new data which just came out. We have the new PCE data coming out today, just basically a couple of minutes before I started to record this video. The forecast said 2.8%, and it turned out to be 2.8 in the previous month. So the January data was 2.8 as well. And we have the core PCE. That's 3% was the forecast. Also turned out to be 3%. So that looks okay. Tomorrow is going to be interesting because tomorrow the CPI data is coming out and the forecast it's 1% higher, which then it was like a month before. It was 2.4 and it's 3.4. So even if it's going to be lower, the inflation start to go in the other direction. And this is what people are afraid of because this was February data, but the real conflict in this, around Iran and the Middle East really started heavily in March. So we're going to see what the March data is, but this can also have an impact on the market. When we're looking at Bitcoin ETF inflows, outflows, in the last 2 days, we have outflows again. We had on the 6th of April a nice inflow, but since then 2 days, we have here now outflows. Right, let's move to the next topic. The next topic is all about quantum threat. And last week, I talked about the other side, the more worrying side. Now we should check this. So, for example, Bernstein says quantum computing poses a challenge to Bitcoin, but represents a manageable long-term upgrade cycle. Blockstream CEO Adam Back said the current quantum hardware remains extremely limited and far from breaking Bitcoin cryptography. So they are quite optimistic in a way that we do have time for it. And also good news that Bitcoin developers have built working prototype that protects your wallet from quantum computers. So actually, they're also working in the background. That means we still have time now. It's very, very important to move on, make some moves, and really do something about it because it's a real threat. When it will come, we do not know. If earlier we have, it's better, the solution. But it looks like they still, they're working on it. And this is the most important thing right now. This is the maximum what they can do. Okay, then we have here chain analysis claims that stablecoin volumes could reach 1.5 quadrillion by the year 2035. And it's very, very interesting here because they're saying it's mainly going to be because of the wealth transfer and payment rail disruption. So baby boomer generation passing 100 trillion in wealth to younger, more crypto native generations, and stablecoin replacing traditional payment rails to become the default payment infrastructure. So this could be the reason why actually we can see this huge spike in the volume of stablecoins in the next decade. Okay, next one, I wanted to just point out that who was buying, who was selling really in Q1. And when you see this, this is posted by River, that businesses bought plus 69,000 Bitcoin, governments plus 25,000, funds and ETFs plus 3,000, but individuals, so basically the retail, was selling 62,000 Bitcoin in this year in Q1. So it really shows that who has the weak hands and who is the one who is actually accumulating during this period. And finally, let's talk about this one here, which is a post by Da Vinci Jeremy. Buy 500 days before halving, sell 500 days after halving. If this follows again, Bitcoin buying opportunity will emerge in Q4 2026. And this is very interesting. Look at this. All the way we go back to 2014, 15-ish. So 500 days before the halving, let's zoom in. If you buy here, it's quite close to it's not the lowest point, but it's like around the lowest point. And then you sell here 500 days later. It's not the highest, it's not the peak, but actually it's very, 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 very nice gains when looking at Bitcoin price. Again, 500 days before, around where it was the bottom, and 500 days, after the halving, it's again around the peak. Not exactly, but around the peak, very, very close. Again, when we go here, back in 2022, 500 days before the halving, then around here was the bottom, and 500 days after the halving, again around the top where it was not long ago, back in 2025. And now this would bring us to here, which is Q4 2026 by 500 days before the halving. Interesting, isn't it? So what do you think? Will this play out? Because it's a very easy playbook without overcomplicating the things, without having the huge stress and impact because of the news and all these kind of things. And actually it did work several times, even last time when we had not long ago, around half a year ago, the previous peak of Bitcoin price. So let that sink. Think about it. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Can it still work? Is it that really easy as it looks like? You can let me know, guys. And yeah, basically that's it for today. Don't forget, every single day you're getting the fresh cryptocurrency blockchain news here on Blockchain Bloom to keep you up to date. So Monday to Sunday you're getting this really nice, crispy, fresh, short videos, the essence of the news in less than 60 seconds. But you're also getting this weekly summary. I think now when we have this bear market, it's really enough to keep you up to date. And with this, you can follow everything without too much noise. So if that's important, just subscribe. See you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.